With the release of Isla and many others, the Mono Dark and also Fire teams have improved drastically, which is why today I'll be doing a tier list of all of the best hunters in solo leveling Arise. And this right here is the previous tier list I did in my last video, and today we have 4 new hunters to rank, which are going to be Charlotte, Gina, Harper, and also Isla. But before I rank all of those characters, I do want to go over some changes that I do actually want to make. And starting off in the S tier, I have a couple changes I want to make, and that is going to be bumping Ana Ruiz all the way up into the S plus tier, as well as also Lim Taegu into the S plus tier as well. And let's start off with Ana Ruiz, and the simple reason for her moving up a tier is simply just because she now has her own exclusive weapon, which is Lonely Wanderer, which does allow her to decrease the target's defense by up to 10% when her ultimate does hit, which overall is going to make her a lot better now. And then when it comes to Lim Taegu has received some buffs actually recently, which have made him a lot better, because I believe his A5 has received some really nice buffs, allowing him to stack his attack even more, as well as also his own exclusive weapon as well, I believe did receive some buffs, which is going to again make him a lot better and is going to make him deal more damage, which is why those two characters are going to go into the S plus tier. However, it does then mean that Choi Jong-in is going to go down to the S tier, because Choi's main use was going to be for things like Power of Destruction and also Guild Boss, because he could apply the 20% defense decrease. However, thanks to Ana Ruiz getting her exclusive weapon, I do think she is now better than Choi, so unfortunately Choi is going to go down to the S tier for that. But fortunately, no other characters are going to be moving down anywhere, and they're only going to be moving up. And the first hunter I'm going to move up into the SS tier from the S plus tier is going to be Go Gun Hee, because after I've used Go Gun Hee so much now, I really have seen what he can truly do. And that is pretty much anything, because if you want damage, Go Gun Hee is your man. If you want survivability, Go Gun Hee is your man. If you want break damage, Go Gun Hee is your man. If you want buffs, Go Gun Hee is your best option. Well, not your best, but you know what I mean. So not only is Go Gun Hee a jack of all trades, he's pretty much a master of all of them as well, and which is probably why he might be the best character in the game. And then the next character and the final character to move up into the SS tier is going to be also Silver Main Baekhyunho, which I'm really happy to see this guy do so much damage now, because the buffs this guy has received have honestly been insane in the recent update, because his weapon has received a ton of buffs, being able to increase his own basic attack damage by up to 80% now at max dupes, which is just ridiculous, as well as also things like his Curse of Magic Beast getting buffed, and also all of some of his advancements being like his A4 as well, doubling the basic attack damage, I'm pretty sure, but that being buffed is crazy, which I genuinely think in the right scenario, Silvermane Baekhyunho could actually be one of maybe, if not the best DPS in the game, which is really good to see. So moving on, we now have the rankings of all of the 4 latest hunters to be added to the game, and let's start off with Charlotte. And Charlotte is an amazing dark DPS as well, who really does rely on a lot of ultimate damage, because at A1, Charlotte can generate her ultimate every 20 seconds, which is overall going to make it very spammable, which will mean overall she's just going to deal a ton of damage. But also with the release of Kaizel, Charlotte has also received, I guess, an indirect buff, because Kaizel's Shadow Authority will buff all of your team members' ultimate skill damage by up to 8%, which will overall pair very well with Charlotte, making her one of the best DPSs in the game. So just like Silvermane Baekhyunho, I do think Charlotte is slightly worse, but I do think she is still going to go all the way up into the SS tier. She's a really good DPS, and also because of things like Baran Workshop of Brilliant Light being weak to dark damage, characters like Silvermane Baekhyunho and also Charlotte are a lot better. So moving on to Gina's ranking, and she is definitely a lot more of a complicated character in comparison to Charlotte, and this is because pretty much most of Gina's value does rely on her passives and also her advancements, because her whole thing is applying the mana circulation and also body retrograde to your whole entire team through using the countercurrent buff and also through creating gravitational fields. And overall, when it does come to these 2 buffs that she does mainly apply, they are good, and it does definitely improve the fire team. However, just because the fire team in general just doesn't really have any piece of content that it can be very useful in, it is overall going to make Gina not as useful. So yeah, overall Gina is definitely a good character. She's definitely going to be one of the best supports for the fire team, but overall I think I'm going to put her into the S tier. I think especially in comparison to other supports like Maylene, Min, and also Hansemi, I think she is definitely the worst out of the lot. Up next we have Harper, and Harper is the perfect pairing for Charlotte in the dark team, because Charlotte can increase the amount of ultimate skill damage that dark hunters will deal pretty much through her pork chopped debuff, and she also has almighty break damage, which is a very unique thing to have. And also in general, Harper herself can just deal a lot of damage in general through all of the buffs that she can apply at A0, and also of course through her ultimate skill as well, Harper's Mjolnir, because obviously the dark team does like to use a lot of ultimate skills. Then it does mean Harper's will deal a lot of damage in general, which I think for me is going to put Harper into either the SS or the S plus tier. I'm not quite sure as of yet, but I think for now I'm going to put her into the S S plus tier, but maybe at the end we'll move her up to the SS tier, but who knows, for now she'll be S plus tier. Which then brings us on to the main event, and that is going to be Isla Wright, who I definitely think is the best support in the game. And let's start off with Isla's weapon, Unexpected Luck, and this is honestly absolutely insane because obviously it increases her defense, which is what's going to be really good for her because she is scaling off of that, but it will also increase your entire team's defense by 4% for every Dark Elemental Hunter on your team, which if you are running Charlotte is going to be very good because Charlotte is also a defense scaler. But the main thing about her weapon is the fact that you can decrease her own ultimate skill cooldown by 20 seconds, which will allow you to change that 45-second cooldown to a 25-second cooldown. And that alone right there is going to make Isla one of the best characters in the game just in general, because when using her ultimate you have a choice of applying two different buffs, with the first one being the World, which basically will instantly restore HP equal to 15% of Isla's defense to your entire team, so if you need healing then you can use this one, as well as also grant a shield, which will be very good. But my favorite buff that she does have through her ultimate is called the Death, which will increase the damage increase stat of your entire team equal to 6% of Isla's damage increase stat. And then also if there's a Dark Elemental Hunter on the team, you can then increase that ultimate skill damage by 12%. So that's only two of the buffs that Isla applies, and yeah, she has a lot more. And the first one is the Tower buff, which she does apply through Death Nova, which can increase the dark damage of Dark team members by 5%. But if you do have her A1, you can actually double that to be 10%, which again is going to be insane. And you can also increase its duration to 16 seconds, which will pretty much mean you can have 100% uptime on the buff, because Death Nova's cooldown is actually 15 seconds. And then finally, through her core attack Horoscope, she can apply the Strength, Magician, and also the Wheel of Fortune buffs to all of your team members. And starting off with the Strength buff, this will just give your teammates a flat 12% damage increase. The Magician will grant a shield equal to 12% of Isla's defense to your entire team. And then finally, Wheel of Fortune can increase all of your team members' crit stats by 12%. So I think overall, just through that alone, I think that is going to make Isla one of the best supports in the game, or I think the best in general. But unfortunately, the only downside of Isla is the fact that you do need a lot of investment into her, because her A3 is pretty much a must if you want to get the most out of her kits, because when you're applying these three buffs here, they do apply randomly and you can only create one of them at a time. But once you do have your A3, you can instantly apply all of them at the same time, as opposed to it being a random chance of getting one of the three buffs. But overall, what I think is even more important is going to be getting her weapon to A5, because the ultimate skill cooldown decrease by 20 seconds is going to be a must-have, so you can keep applying all of the buffs through her ultimate as much as you possibly can. So yeah, I mean, I could literally talk about how good Isla is all day, just because I do think she is the best support in the game, which overall for me is going to make her the first support to go all the way up into the SS tier. Which will leave this as my completed tier list before the release of Thomas Andre, who probably will be the best character in the game when he does drop, so stay tuned for that. So there you have it, that is my complete tier list of all of the best hunters in solo leveling Arise. And overall, if you did enjoy this video or you found it just useful in general, then be sure to like and subscribe and click the link down below to support me as a creator, as it will help out so much. But most importantly, I will see you all in the next video. Peace!